Hello, everybody. We are now live together with Cristina Scutaru, who is president of EMCC Romania, and with Dr. Riza Kadilar, the president of EMCC Global.
Hello, everyone. It's my pleasure to introduce you, Mr. Riza Kadilar, who is the president, as Vlad said of EMCC Global. And it's an honor for us to have this interview with him because, as you may know, this year EMCC Global will have 30 years of existence. So we are celebrating this great achievement. And also here, the community in Romania will celebrate 10 years of existence. So yeah, we are very proud of that, and of course, we will celebrate that. Because I don't want to speak too much, I will leave the floor to my colleague Vlad, and who will ask some questions to Riza, and we can wait to see new information and everything that's relevant about EMCC Global. So thank you again that you are here with us.
My pleasure.
So there are a lot of things happening around and within EMCC Global, and a lot of actions. And I think we can focus on what make us special. And one thing that I consider it's important to stress out, it's the E from EMCC, which is somehow connected with the European area where EMCC started 30 years ago. And there are many actions that EMCC Global, which is now a global organization, is still doing for EU countries, and Romania is part of it. And I think people who are watching us now are interested how EMCC Global is involved in European space.
Well, there are so many questions. First of all, congratulations. So this is the 10th anniversary, a decade. Wow. Time passing so quickly, and here we are. I don't know what to do with our name. It's a challenge because it started in the UK, okay? So when it started, it was a mentoring center, then evolved into coaching, and then it moved international, then moved its headquarters to Switzerland, then came Brussels for the last, I think, 15 years. Um, and this European kind of dropped and became more global because today we see a very growing interest in our offerings from North America, Latin America, and also Asia growing very fast. And some of our biggest impact projects are happening in Africa, even though our chunk of our membership still sits in Europe. Um, so that's why we simply go into detail of what it means, this E, but basically call ourselves a global organization with some roots coming from Europe. And Europe maybe means many different things to many people, but when it comes to our profession, it certainly means quality. Um, Europe is, how can I say it, is a great experiment, if I may, if you allow me to say, because Europe is maybe uh, the collection of countries where we are seeing how a supranational organization collaboration could emerge. But at the same time, this is the area where we have the greatest respect for privacy, for the human rights, for freedom of speech and everything. So put all this together, I think Europe is a great area where we can learn and we can reflect what our learning to the rest of the world. What I mean, for example, we will touch upon different issues. Um, Even though we are claiming to be global, our headquarters, we don't have a real headquarters, but we are registered in Brussels, which gives us a certain affiliation with some European institutions. And I find them very inspiring because the biggest debate going on at EU level are really relevant for the rest of the world. For example, we'll talk about it most probably digital transformation or how to create an inclusive society, climate challenge. These are not just European talk. This is relevant for the whole humanity. All those big three topics are really affecting the whole humanity as we speak. And Europe is really a place where we can learn and we can reflect project to the rest of the world. I don't say it in a way that Europe is doing the right thing all the time, but I think in our job is not to find the answers, but to ask questions and to allow it space to reflect. So that's how we benefit from Europe. And I can also say that in many areas Europe is doing fine. So, for example, um, today we're talking about this inclusive workforce, which is fit for digital transformation. It's easy to say, but very difficult to talk because we're talking about skilling, reskilling, upskilling of the workforce. And coaching and mentoring plays a very important role in that respect because one of the biggest barrier for change is the individual himself or herself. And how can we change all this? It's a change process that we are all kind of accustomed in the coaching space. And there are a lot we can offer or mentoring when it comes to this non-judgmental dialogue, the social equalizer that brings the cultural change in a certain dialogue. It's a tool that works. And I think with our approach and what the world, the global decision makers are trying to achieve, there's a great match. In that respect, for example, we volunteered to play an active role in the European Skill Pact. When the EU published the Skills for the Future, the Pact for the Future document, I made a word check and I realized that there's no mentioning at all of coaching or mentoring or supervision. There are one, but in the wrong context. So that was kind of alarm bells for all of us. If we don't act now, we'll miss the train in a way because it doesn't really matter how much you know as long as nobody else knows about you. So it takes a lot of effort. It's still a kind of journey going on, but we submitted, for example, our um, um, status reports, pledge for activities, and it's a growing dialogue. Last year, maybe you remember, in one of our conferences, we had speakers from EU. We are just aligning our priorities because we do truly believe that the impact of coaching, not only on the individual, but at the society. And a very major part of the society is the business world and the governments and all the related entities around. And I believe EU is a good benchmark for us to be more relevant in those debates. So those things are kind of keeping us busy and being still proud of our E. But at the same time, I can talk about some other offerings like team coaching, supervision, and everything. So we see a major, amazing global interest building up to our offerings in all these areas.
Indeed. Uh, I think it's good to have a first a view about what it's distinct for EMCC. And as you mentioned, at this moment, and actually for all the time, we had mentoring as a special part of what we are comprising in EMCC. And one of the follower, Anna on LinkedIn, talk about her experience as a mentor. It's very rewarding, And I think developmental mentoring, the way it's seen by EMCC, it's quite important. And we also can talk a little bit about team coaching. At this moment, EMCC it's the first professional association who recognize team coaching in accreditation and has core standards for it. And we are happy because it just released the 300 accreditation for practitioners all around the world. And we have 4 members from our organization who are at this level. And also supervision, I think it's something that it's special for EMCC. So if you can tell us a little bit of each of them, will be great.
Just going back to what makes us unique. I don't like about talking about uniqueness. It's a bit egocentric, a bit narcissistic about seeing the world from your angle. So it's really against, I think, the coaching attitude. But I like to talk about what makes us relevant. And it depends on the stakeholder, of course. But our focus is not being unique, is being relevant and being able to connect it. Because our motto is we and we are willing to become even more the preferred trusted partner to anyone anywhere in the world when it comes to coaching, mentoring, and supervision. So it makes us kind of more relatable than kind of being unique. So, for example, the ethics. Some other professional bodies, they do have their own ethical codes, and we were the one back in 2008. It takes a long time to really propose we should have one code. Why do we distinct ourselves with our own tiny bits and pieces? Because at the end of the day, why to create a fragmented market when we believe that we can work together? So today, I think there are 8 now international professional bodies who joined the Global Code of Ethics. It doesn't belong to us. It belongs to the industry. It belongs to the people. It belongs to all practitioners and the coaches. And the Global Code of Ethics is a kind of tribute of our approach. We don't want to be an island in the middle of somewhere. We want to be related with life, with society. So with the same perspective, I think team coaching and supervision came into play. Supervision was first, and again, the choice of word is always unfortunate. Because I'm an engineer, and when we think about supervision in the industrial context, it's totally different thing, isn't it? But at the end of the day, it's an inseparable part of continuous professional development. It's it's an indispensable element of protecting the practitioner, but also the coachee, mentee, the user, but at the same time the whole system together. And it's not unique to us. It's a system that's been developed for all other professions who are dealing with people. In counseling, in psychotherapy, in all other fields, we talk about the same supervision concept. The old saying of you cannot make your bed when you are in it. And, being prone to all the things that we face, we embrace when we deal with our coaches and mentees, that requires certain methodology in order to ensure the continuing quality assurance of our and also internal balance of our practitioners. So it's based on research, well established, and today we are seeing the not so rapid but concrete and comfortable growth in the area of supervision. So there are many supervision networks developing. There are supervision conferences developing. There is research doing more and more in supervision. And again, we don't own supervision. And we are happy that, for example, our brothers and sisters on the other side of the Atlantic, they also finally are using the word supervision instead of mentor coaching, peer coaching, or whatever. That makes us happy because at the end of the day, it doesn't belong to us. It's something that really should belong to whole practice, coaching and mentoring, and I don't have to talk about all the standards and everything here. And it's an ongoing journey because for us, accreditation is not a box ticking exercise. It's a celebration. It's all starts with self-reflection. And our 8 core competencies, it starts with knowing yourself, discovering yourself, being aware of yourself. And it finishes with, assessing. So it's a kind of circular approach. It's in harmony. It's an ongoing dialogue with yourself, with your people around you and everything. So that's why supervision is something that we are really keen on. And it makes us so happy that, other professional bodies are also, incorporating this. And in a way, the same applies for team coaching. So team coaching has been around for quite a long time. Now, most of you maybe has already followed some courses or do team coaching. Actually, I do team coaching, but there was a lack of certain standards, the core standards. And it's not up to us to say what is the core standards. Who are we? We are just a bunch of people at the end of the day. So what we did, again, evidence-based, research-based, we conducted a research, I think, 3 years ago with almost 500 people all over the world. And we simply said, if you believe you know something in team coaching, if you believe you practice team coaching, and if you believe that you want to contribute to team coaching, please come together. So we reached about 500 people, some of them legendary people with books and everything, and some of them just a practitioner somewhere in the world. And we collected data. And based on this data, we came up with core standards. And then we said, before we roll it out, we need to try it. So we tried it with 2 universities and with one online program. And all of them, they finished the circle. And we tested, we have witnessed, we got all the third quality assurance and then the third party external verifications of those 3 programs. And then we said at the middle of last year that we are ready to roll it out. Now we have, I think, 5 or 6 training programs already been accredited, and it's growing. And some of them, like Smurfs Business School in Ireland or Hanley Business School in UK, really prestigious organizations who have been around with team coaching for a long time, but they loved our approach. So because the problem with professional bodies, if I may say, and uh, it's a delicate matter to talk about it, there's this um, unavoidable attitude problem. So somehow you become like, I'm okay, you're not okay, which is bad, okay? We are all okay in our own way, as long as we communicate, as long as we agree, and as long as we agree how to disagree. So once we changed this a few years ago, maybe I would say, I think, among the training providers who have been accredited with us, there are global investment banks. There are the biggest pharmaceutical companies. There are the best prestigious universities. Um, why do they choose to accredit with us? Because we don't tell them we know it better than they do. All we say, we know the methodology. We are aligned with the global higher education framework. We are aligned with the lifelong learning frameworks. So when they see that our methodology is the right methodology, then they prefer to work with us. So team coaching is, yes, the big next thing in coaching because it's a systemic approach. Has been around for a long time. And now what we do, we offer these core standards and at the same time also the practitioners to get their individual accreditations. And you know what? Thanks to this online program, WebEx program with Global Team Coaching Institute, Cultureback and Hawkins, a partnership, um, there are more than now 1,200 individual accredited people in North America. We don't have EMCC USA, but we already have 1,200 people with EMCC accreditation in North America. So we are not here to put the flags all around the world, but that makes us so happy that so many practitioners all over the place are adhering to our standards. When I say our standards, those standards have been put forward through our methodology, but that belongs to the industry. Sorry for long answers, but these are the topics very close to my heart, and I want them to be better understood. Thank you for this opportunity.
Yeah, I like very much the way you answered, and indeed, I do think that relevance is more important than unique, and to be okay, it's and recognize all the others are okay. It's a healthy position, and it's a professional position as well, and I was ready to go on the next level, which was uh, how do you see the cooperation and what brings us together, because there are many associations, there are a lot of coaches, mentors, and team coaches which are not part of any association. They are not accredited, but however, we are all together in the same profession. And I would like to see how you think about what is bringing us together and how the future will grow with us.
Um, Actually, sometimes I use this sentence and I'm misunderstood, but I say, I'm not here for coaches and mentors. They are grown ups, they can find solutions to their problems. Why do I care? But I'm really here for coaching and mentoring, and of course, supervision to support it. Because, you know, on one hand, we are so lucky because I truly believe this today's social contract, the new economic life, new technology, everything requires coaching skills. For example, one of the providers, they are working with the UK London Metropolitan Police Force. A police today should know how to ask questions, how to listen, how to empathize. For example, one of the gold level award winners in ISMCP, the International Standards for Mentoring and Coaching Programs, is the Royal Air Force New Zealand. Yes, the pilots also should know how to, or the army officer should also know how to communicate, how to, the mentoring skills in order to create a better work environment and everything. So on one hand, we are so lucky that whoever in this sphere, maybe 10 or 20 years ago, they were really having a hard time because coaching, so pejorative, so negative in many, dialogues. But today, we don't have to defend coaching in a way because we all know that it works. It's needed. It's a must. Um, so on one hand, we are kind of in a much better place. At the same time, um, it's so fragmented. It is so easy to put three coach together, and they will find very quickly where they differ rather than where they converge. Maybe it's something that we got from psychology because I also see psychology is an area where there are so many different schools. There's still no one answer, but it will maybe eventually come, but not there yet. Maybe coaching, or maybe coaching is also kind of very lonely profession. Um, Everybody's working kind of alone in their own sphere, and that also embeddedly cause fragmentation in the industry. Um, and the organizations that you're referring, they were created with the membership type of organization of the past. Because when we say member, as a LinkedIn member, it's very different than being a member of an organization like EMCC. But what is the difference? I think what I'm trying to say is us as organizations, we have to change and we are changing. So we need to define and redefine what it means to be affiliated with us. Um, Membership works for those people who believe in membership, but we also have concepts like networks, friends, uh, partners, LinkedIn followers, whatever you name it. Uh, the way I see this, Because at the end of the day, what brings us together is our beliefs and is our core standards. We believe that coaching, mentoring, and supervision are good for society, are good for creating a better life, are good for creating a better future. So everyone who believes in this, I hope will find a place in EMCC. But it's up to them. They can be a paying member, they can be just following us, they can be a leader, they can be a volunteer, they can actively take part in to create the future of our offerings. But again, it's a menu, and they can choose whatever they like. I think our responsibility and of course, we come from this performance-driven culture. Okay, I'm proud to say when I took over as president, we were less than 4,000 members. Now we are almost 13,000 members. When I took over, we had few hundreds, whatever, accredited people. Now we have about 12,000 accredited people. When I count all the numbers are great, growing, but we are not really here to satisfy our ego. All those things really means that there's a need of certain people who would like to come together and join. And those who don't want to put another, title, it's up to them. What's really for me important, as long as they really practice according to the best standards or the best practice standards that we believe in, I think we are doing our job, because I'm really focused on coaching and mentoring as my work, as my Lord. My Lord is my work. And as long as I see coaching and mentoring getting better and better, more related, and even yielding better results all over the world, I think we are doing our job in that respect. So, sorry, no clear answer to your question, but I'm not in the game of missionaries or convincing people that our way is a better way or whatever. So we do our best, but I'm also very welcoming those who really want to work with us, because the issue in EMCC, what I really like it, the real power lies with our Center for Excellence. We call them centers for excellence, not of excellence. We are not excellent, okay? We all work to reach the excellence. So that's why we have the centers for excellences. We used to call them work groups, and it's like like all days, work, 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 work. This changes. It's voluntary, but this is where we came up with supervision. We came up with teamwork. We came up with the new definition of mentoring. This is where we work on climate. This is where we work on all the new top inclusion. All these volunteer groupings. This is where we create the future. This is where the research, for example, the research team is growing. They have started to do an amazing job. You will hear more and more. And if any practitioner or any buyer, because we are inclusive, okay? We are not just for practitioners. If you are a person, a leader in the business, if you are leading a company, if you believe in human capital development, if you believe in the leadership development, you know, and if you believe those coaching and mentoring are good tools to use, this is the platform. Join us, benefit from our conversations, and then use it for any purpose you like. You can be a better father, you can be a better mom, you can be a better police officer, pilot, whatever you name it, or manager or businessman. But as long as you want to learn about this, we are here to create platform. And that's why we are very inclusive and we are very open and welcoming. But we are not missionaries, okay? We don't have to convert people in EMCC member only. When I say this, I know some of the country presidents, they say, don't betray us, we need members. Okay, but I think it's a push, it's a pull. If we do a good job, it's obvious that tens of thousands of people, they chose to be with us, and it's growing fast. Just don't miss the train, join us, in one shape or another. How do you like it? I don't know. Did I answer your question, Vlad?
Yes, actually, I think all of us expect to some answers not be straightforward and being depending on the context. However, I'm glad that you did not reverse the question to us and and put us questions. However, it's very nice how we didn't make any preparation, any special preparation for this talk, but our talk evolved very natural, and uh, it's obvious that now I will come to the competence that I love from EMCC, which is understand self. And I have to ask you, who is Riza besides president of EMCC Global, besides the coach and the mentor? What can you
All
tell
the,
us about
yeah,
your?
all the factual information is on my LinkedIn profile. So those who want to learn about it, they can be, I'd be more than happy to get into a dialogue. What you don't find on my LinkedIn profile, I think, I people around me, they love and they complain how curious child I am. For example, in order to better understand our accreditation, I set up a small, training program, coaching mentoring online in Turkish, and it grew, um, you know. And then yesterday we had the launch of our academy in the metaverse. But in order to go to metaverse, it's a buzzword, okay? So I first found a startup. I invested in the startup, and then I asked those people to help me how we can get the training in the new domain, okay? So I think that's my reaction to anything in my life. I'm curious. I like playing. I like being a part of something where I'm visible, and I'm also able to connect. Um, and you will see on my LinkedIn profile, I have so many hats. I tried so many different things. Sometimes I overdo things. Mm, but I would say, on top of everything that you will find on this LinkedIn profile, this is who I am. I like to hug people. I like to, be in touch. And I think this was the biggest challenge for the last 2 years I faced. And on top, for the first 6 months or 3 months, 4 months of the pandemics, I had to stay in Istanbul alone, whereas my family was in Amsterdam. And with all the lockdowns and everything, I realized that I find it very difficult to really physically being alone. So now, for my daughter and my wife, I keep on hugging them because I can't hug other people. So I'm really looking forward for this pandemic to get over, so that we can come together again in our conferences, our events, so that we can physically also connect. I don't know that, so it's very difficult to talk about myself, but that's all. Maybe to start with. Any specific question that should? Uh,
You will not escape this time. What is your favorite dish or food?
I'm sorry. My favorite.
Food or dish?
The what I eat. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
to eat.
Uh, you know. I used a really specific answer to those questions. For example, there's a Turkish dish which is called the Sultan liked it. Literal translation. Okay, it's an eggplant dish with minced meat and everything. Amazing, perfect. Um, for example, that was the answer that I would give you all through my life. But now um, I'm a bit more confused. For example, lately we discovered the Korean food, and we love Korean. Some of the kimbap or tteokbokki. These are very new things that my DNA doesn't recognize, but my curiosity-seeking side, I love it. But most probably in 6 months or a year, I will come up with something else. One thing I can say, I when it comes to food, um, I'm very tolerant. I can't eat everything, but I'm okay, especially in Europe. With most of the things that people eat, I do also enjoy eating. So I prefer do as the Romans do. When I travel, I go really local. For example, That reminds me, my last trip. My last trip with EMCC was to Greece, and the one before was in Portugal. Wow! In both cases, I do remember all this wonderful food. So you may say that I like eating, I like drinking, I like enjoying conversation over. I have a specific answer, this Hünkar Beğendi in Turkish, to give you an answer. But in reality, I am still discovering new tastes all over the world.
Great. Thank you very much. And the last one, which is personal, give us a recommendation for a book.
A book?
Yeah, it could be professional or could be
just give
anything.
me a sec.
It's amazing, Riza.
The books that I would say that it really shaped my many things that I talk about. Malcolm Gladwell, Outliers, Tipping Point, whatever. So all of his books. Daniel Pink, Drive. That really explains what we are doing and everything. Daniel Pink's When is also a good book, for example. So and then Mikhail
Yeah.
I couldn't say his name.
I can say his name as well, but I am sure that everybody knows.
Yeah, the flow. I
Yeah.
know the guy. I met him. I we have a selfie together, whatever. All those are the traditions, okay. But there is one new book that I really work on it still, and I'm gonna show this. This is the Atlas of the Heart with Brené Brown. So Brené is a researcher, and she's been writing many books, and she's very hard worker. She works a lot, an American from Texas. And her books are good books. Many books. It's wonderful books, great books. But that one, and I just wrote her, so I invited her to speak at our conference. Most probably she will not accept. So she's really like, top. Or she will ask a lot of money. I don't know. But still, I invited her, and I'm gonna post it on LinkedIn. I think this book is maybe the best ever coaching book I have ever read. The word coaching doesn't appear. This is about emotions, feelings. There are hundreds or whatever feelings, emotions. Based on her research, she tells us what those emotions means. And let me tell you, our life is so colorful. We have so many different emotions in our lives, but we don't necessarily recognize them. And in a way, coaching isn't it? Learning, playing, understanding, and reacting. And like Yuval Harari says, and for example, Yuval Harari's books are also, I like them. Who you are is actually how you behave, how you react under certain conditions, isn't it? So this Cambridge Analytica, if they can predict my behaviors, this is how they know me. But it all starts with how I am in line, in harmony with my feelings. And this book, if you can find it, it's on, I think it's on, I got it on Amazon. It's a good book, very good book. So this is my favorite nowadays.
Great. Thank you very much. We are near to finish our talk, and I wonder if you have any special message for Romanians.
First of all, I need to confess, I've never been to Romania. It's a shame, I know, but nobody's perfect. Okay, so don't shoot me. It happened. I'm really curious about it. And I had a few occasions, opportunities to come to different parts, but each time there was a reason I couldn't. So that's why first thing I would say, let's create an opportunity for me to visit your country, okay? Very selfish. Very selfish. And let me enjoy your food, your music and everything. Yeah. So I'm sorry for that. Other than this, I really don't know anything about your daily agenda, what's going on in your life. But this morning I had a conversation, a meeting with somebody who works for a big multinational. I'm not going to name it, but one top American leader in their own domain, whatever. And the lady is the HR lead in their operations in Kazakhstan. And Kazakhstan, they covered a big region from there, an original Kazakh lady. And they are working on a mentoring program, and they wanted some advice how to design the program. So we did some brainstorming, okay? And I asked her, like ISMCP, the first question, what's the purpose of your program? And then she said, engagement, employee engagement. They have issues with that. And then the generations inclusion, with new generation coming to the workforce, and they're right? And then digital skills. I think these three topics is relevant to all of us. Inclusion, not only generation, but also inclusion when it comes to culture. Today, I just had to leave. We in EMCC, we are hosting a cultural awareness webinar, for example. This cultural awareness, inclusion, be it generations or cultures or way of lives and everything, is a challenge. And it's, I think, a good challenge for coaches, because we can, I hope, there's hope for us. If not, there's no hope for humanity. So we should be on the forefront of this. When it comes to digital, as I just told you, I think curiosity helps us. Otherwise, we can really feel bad. And one of the things maybe that we can really develop is, or employ, is our capacity for curiosity when it comes to digital. Many opportunities, great possibilities, but of course we need to reposition ourselves, start again. Not easy. And the first thing, what she said, this great resign. Maybe it's not there in Romania. Maybe it is, but its implications are there. Even if we don't resign per se, a part of us resigning from our work. It doesn't have to be like 9 to 5 office work, but maybe everything we do, because the meaning of life is changing. So what I would say, those three topics that came to me from Kazakhstan, Almaty, this morning, I find them very relevant to my life in the Netherlands. And they may be relevant to your life in Romania. And I would say we are lucky, because more we think about what we are developing, learning with the coaching principles, mentoring skills, and everything, I think we are kind of advantaged in these difficult times. And by the way, these are beautiful times. We can't really complain. So despite all the bad things happening in the world, I still believe we are lucky compared to some other times in history. But we are living it for the first time, and it's difficult for us. The other day, I was watching a TV show. It's called Morning Show. And I'm not going to give any spoiler. It's a good one. But anyway, so it finishes on, I think, the 10th of March, or no, 16th of March 2020 in New York, when the pandemic started. Watching the TV series, I felt bad. Okay, I really remembered those days with all the uncertainties, but we are here. We are here. So these are not specific messages to Romanians, but I think they are specific messages to all of us who are ready to listen to my long answers. And I hope certain maybe gift or something to discover there.
I think each of us will find own echo in your answers. And we are at the last question, and is in regard with EMCC conference, which has a amazing title, United in Harmony, with a question mark. And the big question is it possible to make it from a question mark to a statement?
Every conference comes with a theme, and whether the conference fulfills the theme or not, it's a good question, because everybody comes with their own. In the interviews, I didn't do it today, but maybe I did it again. I say to my moderators, you can ask me any question you like, but I will give my answers, okay? So I will answer to whatever I like at the end of the day. But the conference is also like this. We invite people. I just got the final list of the speakers. We had this year an amazing panel who really made a very detailed analysis of the speakers and everything. So, because in the last few years, we were like really accepting, and now there's an amazing demand. And of course, those people will deliver whatever they want to deliver, even though we tie it with the topic, it's not gonna. That's why it's very difficult to make the statement. But the intention of this topic is to initiate a thinking, because I think some of the answers to some of the current questions are already hidden in some of the old wisdom. Because when we talk about, for example, sustainability, what do we really want to sustain? A bit push, it may end up like I want to sustain my way of life. I want to protect everything I have and I don't want to lose everything I have, even though knowing that if everyone has whatever they have today, we will lose the whole planet. So, what do we really want to sustain? So, it's a question mark. And I find the solution in the concept of harmony. Because this old wisdom of the concept of harmony, you got to be in harmony with yourself, you got to be in harmony with your surrounding, and of course with universe, with planet and everything. So if everyone comes with a certain level of harmony, I don't know if maybe there is a way to sustain this. And because if somebody pushes too hard to lose the harmony, the other come together to really re-establish harmony. But harmony is the stable state or a fragile state, I don't know. One thing for sure, humanity has always won or been successful. This is where Harari who says, when we collaborate. Or Homo sapiens, one of our greatest advantages is to collaborate. So being united. But of course, we want to keep our differences. We want to be unique at the same time, like belonging and also freedom, independence, whatever. But we gotta kind of unite in certain way. And I think today's technology allows us to do it as never before. That's why inclusion is important. That's why diversity is dangerous, but also beautiful. It also brings lots of color, but challenging. It's very different than our childhood. Just in one lifetime, so many things changed. So that's why I truly believe in united, but united in harmony. Because harmony means I can still keep my colors, my independence, but I need to do it in harmony with others. And that's, I think, a very philosophical and difficult question. Not necessarily I will be able to give an answer, but I think if we think more about this, maybe we can come up with a better solution of what we have today. Because on one hand, we talk about inclusion, harmony, but of course, everything comes with its opposite. This yin-yang concept. The polarization is amazing. The whole political world I don't know in Romania, but in many parts of the world, the political discourse is on polarization. More you polarize, and then technology is great to bring us together. But think about WhatsApp. We are all in groups of people, in the groups of WhatsApp groups of people like us. So on one hand, we think about reaching out because it's possible to reach out, but at the same time, we still keep our close circles and everything. So, and I think this is for the first time humanity faced this. I never had instant friends from Hong Kong in my life before, but now I do. And I feel them very close to my heart because it's just how much? 30 centimeter with my mobile, very close. And then put the Oculus or the other metaverse or virtual reality. Wow. Yeah. So that's why united in harmony with a question mark.
Great, thank you. Before to meet you in metaverse, I think we have to work with Christina to get you here in Bucharest, and
Yes.
probably May will be a great weather and a great time to have you here.
Frankly, let's not rush.
No, we don't rush.
Yeah, and it could be after summer, it could be next May or whatever. But still, we gave it so much time to rebuild our habits. You know, I will be definitely, Romania will be on top of my list, okay? But let's not rush for this May. Just give
No,
me
we don't rush. We only look at opportunities.
Yes.
Yes, we take this idea to have you here. And thank you for this inspiring presence and conversation with you. And for this amazing opportunity with the online and this virtual, environment to have you tonight with us. So thank you. And let's celebrate coaching, mentoring, and humanity, let's say.
Indeed.
All the best. Bye-bye.
Bye
Thank you
bye.
very much, Riza. We want also to thank you to Juana and Adina who commented in link on LinkedIn, and to all of our members and our friends who watch this discussion. Was a great time having you here, Riza, and we're looking forward for the next opportunity to meet you and to talk more together.
Okay. Thanks a lot. Bye bye.
Bye.
Bye bye.